and welcome to Dear Pop Culture Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about pop culture that is dear to us. Today, there is no guests. It's just a solo episode, just me talking about the goings-on in pop culture of the week, and for me personally, so like not current stuff, but you know the drill. You know how it is. I drove here in an Evo car share car, and I would usually just listen to the radio in those. And here's something: if you ever take a car share and like you are listening to the radio and the presets are set, that's because I set them. I set the presets in car share cars, because I'm a saint. That's because I used to work at a car rental company, and every time I would get in a car, it like I had to drive them around, and like I didn't have, I wasn't dealing with Bluetooth at the time. This was like 2014. It existed. I just didn't know how to do it. But anyways, I'd be driving a different car around all the time, and so I'd make sure that all the radio sets were preset. And because I was like, well, I want my customers to easily be able to go from station to station and not be having to tune in, and then they'll get in a crash because they're just trying to find a good song they like. Anyways, so I usually listen to the radio, but more recently I've been like, oh, duh, in Evos, you can hook up your Bluetooth to them. Why haven't I been doing that? So I was really jamming out on the way here, and I pulled up outside the studio, and She Wolf by Shakira came on. I actually just circled the block because it's so good. So that's where I'm at today. Other than that, I kind of just chilled this morning. I've been sick this week, so I recorded the podcast last week. It was a great episode. And that same day, I did a little like yoga light stretching for my knee, physio, and then I made myself a really nice dinner, like healthy food, and it was like such a good day because that podcast was so fun. And then the next day I woke up and I felt like shit. So that's what you get for taking care of yourself. So I'll never do it again, I swear. And so and then I was like took like 3 days off work, was like just so out of it. And I've been watching a lot of like comfort shows and movies. Watched a few new movies. But yeah, one of the things that came out this week, actually, that 90s show, that 70s show spin-off or reboot. I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of a spin-off because it's like the same character. Anyway, it's the same show. Anyways, I watched 3 episodes of that 90s show. If you don't know, it's on Netflix. It's like Kitty and Red, and it's like in their house, their same house, but then like Eric and Donna's daughter goes to like live with her grandparents for the summer. So it's like about her and all the kind of other teens, and it's like they kind of have filled all of the characters. I was like watching them interact. I'm like, oh, that's the Kelso, that's the Fez. Like they're like updated version. Like they don't have a Fez. They don't have like a a foreign exchange student who you don't actually know where he's from, and that's like, what is that accent? And it's like a Asian gay kid. And I'm like, oh, that's the Fez. So, but anyways, and then like there's a few cameos from the original cast, and I've seen some comments or reviews being like, oh, I wish they were in it more. Why aren't they in it more? I wish we need more Jackie and Kelso. And I'm like, no, we don't need them more. The show's not about them, and I don't need it to be. I liked seeing them, but yeah, it's cute. I don't know, like I was afraid to watch it. I was like, this is gonna be so bad. And also like that style, the multicam sitcom in front of a live audience is like it's just inherently like nostalgic and a little bit like it's a bit more like cheesy, for lack of a better word. It's a more over the top because they're performing for the live audience, so it's a bit more like, ha 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 ha, get it? And like that's just how those shows are. So like, if you don't like that kind of show, and they've just kind of aged out, they don't really make them anymore, I feel like. So it's interesting to like settle into that kind of sitcom again. But I think it's funny. I think they're doing a good job. Yeah. So that 90s show, what can I say about it? I mean, I've only watched 3 episodes. My favorite part, I think, actually was the Leo cameo, Tommy Chong. So that's pretty funny. And actually, Kitty and Red are really good. Their neighbor is really funny. They have a new neighbor character, who's the Bob, basically. And she's like wacky. A wacky neighbor. Gotta love a wacky neighbor. That's the goal in show business, right? Like, I want to be an actor. I want to be the wacky neighbor. That'd be so fun. So anyways, I'll keep watching it. And I think there's only 10 episodes, you know? They don't make shows, like network shows, I guess, still do 20 or so episodes a year. That's something that someone pointed out. It's like a show, like network shows, you know, they would have the holiday episodes because they were on all year. So they had to like fill time. I miss that. Anyways, that 90s show on Netflix. And then what else this week? I watched 17 again, the Zac Efron movie, because I don't think it gets talked about in the teen comedy pantheon. Maybe because Zac Efron is the lead, and so it's like it's not like a teen girl comedy, but I think it was kind of marketed towards teen girls because he was coming off High School Musical, and everyone was like, he's so hot. So I don't know that a lot of people saw it. It's genuinely so funny. It's so funny. It's a really good comedy. So it's like Zac Efron. Oh God, how do I describe it? He plays Matthew Perry. He plays Matthew Perry at 17. So at the beginning of the movie, Matthew Perry is like, my life is falling apart. I don't like my family. And then he's like, I peaked in high school. I wish I could go back. And then he like becomes young overnight. He falls over a bridge, and then he comes back as his younger self, Zac Efron, which I remember it coming out and being like, okay, like Zac Efron is going to grow up to look like Matthew Perry. But now that Zac Efron is in his 30s, I could see it. If Zac Efron didn't do whatever he did to his face, he might look a little like Matthew Perry, you know, if he just let himself age gracefully. No, I don't know. Anyways, and then but what it's great is the things like Zac Efron says are in such a Matthew Perry cadence. Like, he definitely studied Matthew Perry, like, because we know him so well because of Friends. So like the things Zac Efron says is like, so he's like, his mannerisms, I'm like, his tone, everything he says, I'm like, I could hear Matthew Perry saying that exactly like that. It's a really good performance. He plays a great, like, to compare it to like Freaky Friday, because like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in Freaky Friday, Lindsay Lohan is playing a woman in her 40s. Jamie Lee Curtis is playing a 16-year-old girl, but their performances of that are nothing like Jamie Lee Curtis is playing a 16-year-old girl, but it's nothing like Lindsay Lohan's 16-year-old self at the beginning of the movie. Does that make sense? Like, she's not doing Lindsay Lohan. She's just being wacky. It's a good movie still, and the performances are good. But if you notice that, like, I swear, it's like, yeah. So it's interesting to see Zac Efron isn't just playing, like, I'm a grown man stuck in a teen's body. He's actually playing Matthew Perry. Like, you can tell. And then Thomas Lennon plays his best friend, and he's like one of the funniest actors. If you don't know, it's like Reno 911. He's so funny in it. I die. And it's got Melora Hardin, who's Jan in The Office as well, and Leslie Mann. Just like really funny people in the cast. So if you haven't seen 17 again, or if you haven't seen it for a while, go rewatch it. It's very funny. And then it's got even a little moment like where his daughter hits on him because she doesn't know it's her dad. It's a little gross Back to the Future moment where you're like, ew. But nothing happened. Anyways. So 17 again. Go back and watch that. Shit. Also this week, very important news. Huge news for people my age. New Fall Out Boy song came out, Love from the Other Side. It's really good. I have listened to it one time this morning. It came out a few days ago, but I really like it. I'm in there. And then they have a new album coming out this year, which is like great because like Paramore has a new album coming out in February, so it's like, whoa, emo kids. When it's funny because like I really liked Fall Out Boy when they came out, but I actually never considered them emo. They're pop punk. So there is a difference. Because like I liked pop punk, but I was not an emo kid. Like I also liked pop. I listened to the Pussycat Dolls and Fall Out Boy at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like my brother was emo. He was listening to The Used and Bright Eyes, right? Like that's emo. That's the only emo songs I listened to were featured on the OC soundtrack. So they were, sometimes I could get away with you thinking, I remember being like, I really like this song by Imogen Heap. So like in grade 8, I actually remember this. There was like an older boy was one of our TAs in drama class, and he there's like a few of us sitting around. He was like talking to us like grade 8 girls, and he's like, what are you guys' favorite songs right now? And I remember this one girl being like, Don't Ya by the Pussycat Dolls, and we were like, oh hi, yeah. And I, even though I liked that song, was like, I really like this song Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap. That's my favorite song. Like I just was, I don't know, thought I was cool. I'm not like other girls, but I was. Maybe that's why they didn't want to be my friend. Oh yeah, that just reminded me. I got a comment on one of my Instagram posts, not a podcast clip. It was a photo of the sunset that I posted. A woman commented, hey, maybe podcasting isn't for you. The dry giggling gets a little grating. So I just laughed, and then the comment popped up in my head. But I just commented, I was just like, don't listen to it then. You know, other people like it. So anyway, I'll try. I was gonna say I'll try not to giggle, but I'm not going to. Anyways, Fall Out Boy, Paramore is coming out. They've released 3 songs so far. I like the first one the best. This Is Why. The News is good, but it's not my favorite. But I'm excited for their album nonetheless, because it's so weird, because like I listened to Paramore like, when Misery Business and that stuff came out, but then when Ain't It Fun came out, that album, their self-titled album, I liked that song, but I never listened to the full album up until like 2019. And then I loved it. And then same with their next one, After Laughter, that has like Hard Times and Rose Colored Boy. Those albums I listened to the most during like 2020, during the like lockdown phase of the pandemic. Oof, Paramore got me through. And Let Go by Avril Lavigne, that album. I went back. Yeah. So anyways, that's pretty exciting music news. this year. In other music news, Beyonce performed a private concert in Dubai, I think yesterday, and there was all these TikToks and like really far away footage of this like very extravagant, like I don't know, she's like standing on this like pillar. She's dressed all in gold and she's singing her face off. All these videos were coming up on my TikTok page because lots of my TikTok page is just Beyonce singing, if I'm being honest, but my For You page. But it was all like people weren't allowed to film, so they were like secretly filming it, and it's just pretty funny. And she hasn't performed live since I think before the pandemic, because she put out an album last year and then it's so crazy. She didn't need to promote it. She didn't like, she's not out there on the Tonight Show like Jimmy Fallon's like, ladies and gentlemen, Beyonce. Like, no, she's not doing that. She's just like, here you go, and it worked, which is crazy. That's all I have to say about that. Another thing, I watched a couple of movies that came out like last year that I just like didn't get to. Like I finally watched the Knives Out Glass Onion movie, which was good. It's like not as good as Knives Out. And then I just saw a thing like Rian Johnson, the director, was like, he didn't want Knives Out to be in the title. He was like, this is just a separate thing. Like it's the same character. It's like Poirot. It's like the detective. Wait, is that his name? No, that's the guy from the Agatha Christie novels. I can't remember his name. But anyways, he was like, it's a separate movie, and it's extremely different from Knives Out. And it's very like, I think it's good, but it's very like, oh, like it's everything that kind of borrows from real life. It's like very much commenting on, like billionaires. Like it's very much like eat the rich. That's the message. But it's like everything that's like that's like really heavily borrowing from real life. It's like, oh, this character is supposed to be like Elon Musk. This character is supposed to be like Dan Bilzerian or whatever. It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it feels false in a way. I don't know. It's good, but it's just like something off about it that it just like doesn't fully pull me in. And then there's all these like little actor cameos because everyone wanted to be in a Knives Out movie, I guess. So it just kind of like pulls you out of it a little bit. It's not like the first Knives Out. It's like just full invested in this story, in this family, and you believe their family. So I thought that was interesting. Like it was like kind of like Don't Look Up, It's like everything about that movie was like, this should be good. I like all these actors, but it's just so, maybe it's too real. And it's also like, not too real, but like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, Knives Out, A Glass Onion Mystery. Kate Hudson looked amazing. Janelle Monáe was actually really good. She was really good. I liked her. Yeah. I also watched Hustle, the Adam Sandler movie, the basketball movie. I didn't watch it because I don't know why. I remember when it came out, I was like, oh, is it funny though? And they were like, no, not really. I was like, oh. But like they didn't explain to me it's not really a comedy. I just knew it was an Adam Sandler movie that was about basketball. I didn't know it's not really a comedy. It's like a emotional sports movie. So it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of like montages about basketball, but man, it really got me in the end. I teared up at the end when, I won't spoil it. And Adam Sandler got nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award, which is like pretty nice. He deserves it. He's really good in it. He plays like a basketball scout for the NBA. And okay, so I was watching it, and I recognized a couple real life NBA players. Like I recognized maybe Shaq and Charles Barkley and maybe one more, or like I used context clues. I was like, oh, this guy I think is actually a NBA player, Dirk something. I was like, well, I bet he's a real life basketball player. Was but anyway, so and then at the end of the movie for the credits, it's like it's like this person as himself, this person as himself, this person as himself, like 30 times, and it shows them all playing basketball, like real footage of them. And I was like, oh, like I really enjoyed the movie, but if I knew who those people were, I would have enjoyed the movie even more. Which is, man, basketball fans must have gone crazy. Oh my God, that's Kyle Lowry. I don't know what he looks like. He was in the movie, but I don't remember. There's too many basketball players. But yeah, it was great. And then I watched Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza, which was a very intense movie. Again, she's someone who used to be known for comedy. She's done so many indie movies now and like is a super talented dramatic actress that it's like, I don't know, sometimes you forget. So the movie's like really intense. It's about a girl who like has a lot of student loans. She has like a criminal record for something, and then like she just like she has to turn to a life of crime to make a living. And she's really good in it, but it's like intense and a little bit like stressful. That's all I could say about it, really. I would say see it. It was nominated for a lot of Independent Spirit Awards. That's coming up. It's awards season. That's what I'm trying to like catch up on what's coming out, what's going to be nominated. The Oscar nominations are going to be announced on Tuesday. So if you're listening to this, maybe they're already announced. I'm recording this on Sunday. So that's exciting. A little bit. Also, there's been a lot of press. I'm going to segue. There's been a lot of for the movie 80 for Brady, which is about these 4 old ladies who I think they go to the Super Bowl or something and meet Tom Brady. It's Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Rita Moreno, and Sally Fields. It's just so like such a weird premise, and you can tell like watching the trailer, I'm like, this movie is funded by the NFL. Like, it's so weird. It just seems really weird to me. But God, I love them all. And like the most recent clip that kind of went, viral-ish, was like the 4 women in an interview talking about like all the awards they won. Like, oh, I have Emmy. Oh, I have 8 Emmys, and it's very good. They're all so funny. Rita Moreno is an EGOT winner, also. Crazy. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I'll see it, but I love them, so I'm like, I guess it's a catch-22. You're like, I don't care about the NFL, but it's gonna be funny, right? Harry Hamlin is in it for all the Housewives fans, or for your 80s Sexiest Man Alive fans. And yeah, so another thing that happened this week that was like pretty big for me, actually I think it happened a couple weeks ago. Lance Bass started a podcast called Frosted Tips, where he interviews former boy band members, which is so fun. I'm excited to dive in. The first episode is with JC Chazé, of NSYNC. So, I mean, I'm always say I'm against celebrities having podcasts, but damned if they aren't good at it. I will admit, I recently got so hooked into Smartless, the podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. They're so funny. I'm like, damn, I guess. And they have interesting guests. Like, sorry, my comedian friends that have podcasts, you're not booking Ron Howard. You're not booking Kerry Washington. I want to listen to what they have to say. So, yeah, I honestly, like, I went down a rabbit hole. I've listened to, so many episodes of that in the last month. I've become obsessed. So, I hate talking about podcasts on a podcast. Isn't that just the worst? So anyways, Kylie Jenner announced her son's name after 1 year of him being born. His name's Air. That's all I have to say about that. I've also been watching Will and Grace. Just after New Year's, I started from the beginning. Now I'm on season 3. It's so good. I haven't seen it really since it was like airing. I used to watch it sometimes. You know, you'd catch it whenever it was on and then reruns. But like Will and Grace needs a streaming renaissance. It needs what The Office got. It needs what Friends got. It needs the younger generation to go in and watch it. It's so funny. I mean, yeah, there's some problematic stuff in there, like all of them. Like Friends has problematic shit too, but like Karen is the funniest person. And Jack, I started watching it because I was listening to that podcast with Sean Hayes, and I was like, man, Sean Hayes is so good. And then watching him on Will and Grace, I'm like, he's the funniest person. Just so unique, and it's a great show. They're all so talented. And I was like looking at him like, why isn't Eric McCormick done more stuff? He has. He's been doing TV for years. I just didn't know because I don't watch network TV. But he's so good, and he's so cute. He's not gay in real life. People maybe would be mad at that now, but that wasn't happening back then. People weren't allowed to be gay on TV, or they were, but they had to be straight. And he's Canadian, Eric McCormick. Did you know? I saw him once when I was working at Fifth Avenue Movie Theater in Vancouver. And there's like a bar and lounge at the beginning when you walk in. And he was standing at the bar with his friends. I think he ordered margaritas or something. It was something cool. And he was so tan. Like, he just got back from a vacation or something. Because I remember he was wearing like shorts, and I was like, "That's Eric McCormick," just standing there. Celebrities used to come into that theater quite often, and you would just see them, like, I don't know, like Allie from Allie and AJ. She came in once, and she was like, just so unassuming, so tiny. They're all so tiny, and I was like staring at her like, she looks really familiar. And then she was literally on the phone, and she said something like, oh, tell AJ this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she's talking about the AJ. Allie and AJ. It was crazy. But I never bothered them. I never said anything to them. Yeah, I never talked. I don't have any good stories about talking to them. Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Wow. New Fall Out Boy. Kylie Jenner announces her son's name. Shakira, She-Wolf. That's how I started this thing. I haven't talked about Shakira's breakup song about her husband. Like, she released the craziest diss track of all time. And it's very good. I don't really know the details. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it. I think this was a little shorty today because I was sick all week and kind of still feeling out of it. So I appreciate that you listen to the podcast. Oh! I have to say, I'm doing pop culture trivia at Comedy After Dark, January 31st, and it's at 7:30 p.m. Comedy After Dark is the venue, and they have like dinner and drinks and stuff. So come to pop culture trivia. It's so much fun. I cannot wait. We're getting it back going every month. We had we started it and then we had to cancel it because snowstorms and then because Christmas holidays. And so, yes, Pop Culture Trivia, January 31st will be the first one of the year. Can't wait. And I also have a show in the Just for Laughs Vancouver Festival called Comedy Bucket, and it's at a place called China Cloud. That's February 16th, so you can get tickets to that on jflvancouver.com. And yeah, if you go to my Instagram at Hina Jarms, you will, click the link at the top of my profile, and there will be links to those things. Yeah, so that's it. And we'll be back next week with some guests. I can't wait to get back into this. And thank you for listening. We love you. Bye.